Not a lot of fanfare for the old start.
Hello.
No preparation, no nothing. We're here. I mean, there's tons of preparation. Sorry.
There's a lot
We've
of
been,
prep.
oh yeah, hours. Here we are. I like how we're level.
We are.
Uh-huh.
We're like height twins,
Mhm.
triplets.
Yep, it's perfect.
It is perfect.
Perfection.
3 pieces of 1 pie. Have you ever cut a pie in 3 pieces?
No.
That's an,
I've done
whoa.
4.
4? I know, but have you ever done 3?
No. Have you done 3?
No, but I should.
Is it called the peace pie?
Oh, Ken.
Right? What?
You're such a hippie.
Right? It'd be the peace pie.
Are you saying pizza pie? It's
No,
a pizza pie.
What if I was? Huh? Anyway.
Are we talking
Um,
about sweet pies or like pizza pies? Because I guess
Okay, like sweet pies was my first intent.
That's what I thought as well.
But then Ken said it with a weird accent.
I didn't say it with a weird
A
accent.
pizza, it's a pizza pie.
If I was gonna say it was a weird, with a weird accent, you would know it for sure. It'd be very distinctive. What's your favorite kind of pie?
Cherry.
Okay.
Ooh. Pumpkin.
Mm.
Pumpkin pie.
Ken?
I think a real pecan pie, because I'm just a sugar junkie.
Pecan? Is it pecan or pecan?
Depends where you're from, I suppose.
Pecan. Pecan.
Pecan?
Pecan.
Are you saying pecan?
Pecan. Now you got me all like self-conscious. Thanks
Okay.
a lot, Maj-Lis.
Great.
Appreciate that. So we're here. This is the Yoga Pod podcast, episode 53.
Woo!
Big old 53. We've got Christina here.
Yes, we do.
Hello.
Hi, Christina.
Just finished teacher training. My name's Ken. I'm the co-host. Your name is?
Maj-Lis Delgado. My
Mhm.
husband and I are the local owners of Yoga Pod Fort Collins. It's really hard to say.
It's weird, right?
It is weird.
Sometimes it's hard to speak. And then yourself, Christina.
Tell us
Yeah.
tell us
Just
your full
introduce
name.
yourself. Yeah.
Oh, I'm Christina Davila. I'm 20. I just turned 29
Oh,
last
happy
Thursday.
Yeah.
Or yes, last Thursday.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm going through a quarter life crisis. It's
Okay.
my last birthday in my 20s,
Okay.
Mm.
and
And what are
You're,
you feeling?
you're a Scorpio.
I'm a Scorpio.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like at 29, or like you should have stuff figured out.
Oh,
And
wow.
I
no.
and I
Yeah.
don't.
Why, 47? I don't have it figured out either. So how about you, Maj-Lis? You got it figured out?
I mean, I got it figured out.
What are you? You're like 23 or something?
Bless your heart, Ken. Do you want a raise? Is that what's happening? I'm actually 38.
Okay.
I feel good about that. Here's the thing, Christina, you don't have to have anything figured out.
Oh.
That's not the point of what we're all doing. It's what's important is that you stay present in the moment and just know your 30s get even better.
Oh.
Swear to the universe, Ishwara, whoever we're swearing to nowadays.
All right.
It gets so great because in your 20s, you're figuring out who you are,
Yes.
right?
Sure.
You got to go through all this school that's quote unquote required
Mm.
to get careers and stuff. You're trying to find out who your friends are.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of stuff that's going on that's
Mhm.
not conducive to just being authentic to yourself. Some people are advanced and can do that, but
yeah.
during
Those
my
people
20s,
are crazy.
they are crazy.
For people who like go to school and they know what they
Yeah.
want to do, I'm like, bless your soul.
Yeah.
I'm not one of those people. It took me like 5-6 years to kind of finally figure out what I wanted to do.
But
Okay.
look at you now.
Look at me now.
Look at you now.
Look at me now.
And you just got
So-
done with teacher training.
Did.
Isn't that right?
Yes. And before I started, everybody's like 200 teacher training is like super life changing. And I'm like, okay.
Sure it is.
Sure
Yeah.
it is.
Whatever.
I'm just going to go get my yoga on for 8 weeks. But now I totally get it. Like it
Mm.
was the best decision I've ever made.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
In
it's
all
amazing.
29 years.
In all
That's the best decision you've made. That's amazing.
Now I got crow down.
Nice.
you.
Wow. That's
Wicked
motivation right there.
crow.
Wicked crow.
So, Christina, I want to hear more about obviously your journey through training, but I want to hear about Christina before yoga.
Yeah.
I want to know where you grew up and
I feel
what
like
you
she
were
grew up in
like.
Greeley.
I did.
You did? I didn't know
I
that.
did.
Maybe I stalked her on Facebook right before this. I was like, Okay, I gotta find her so I can tag her.
Creeper.
It says Greeley High School, I think, or
Yes.
something, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so I grew up in Greeley,
What high school did you go to?
Greeley Central High School.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
it's pretty cool. I was one of those kids who enjoyed high school. Like, I don't have any complaints. I was a little awkward. I was a thespian. I was in choir. I ran cross country and track.
Awesome.
I was very involved. My dad was very strict growing up, so like my social life was extracurricular activities.
You're like, I have to join theater so
Every
I can
club.
have friends that hang
And I was
out
like-
with me.
And I was like, Dad, I have to go to, choir practice. I have to go
Yeah.
to band practice.
Totally.
Yeah.
What did he do for a living?
He's had a lot of jobs. I mean, I know he works at like a. Oh gosh, I know he's.
Is
probably
this a long
watching.
answer for I'm not sure? Is this a I'm not sure?
I know he's had a lot of odd jobs.
Okay.
But he's always been a working papa, like 3-4 jobs. He helped raise 7 kids.
Whoa.
What? I
Wait,
know.
you're one of 7.
That's like a
I'm
full-time
one of
job right there.
7.
Yeah.
What?
So
Where are you in the lineup?
I'm the second oldest.
Okay.
So he's got a long way to go.
well,
A long way to go.
now we're all kind of adults.
Teenish, yeah.
My half sister's 15.
Mhm.
Wow.
She's the youngest, but then the second youngest, I believe, my brother James is 23, 24. So
Did you guys all live in the same house together?
we did.
How
So
many bathrooms did
Well,
you
it was
have?
like the Brady Bunch.
we were the Mexican Brady Bunch.
Nice.
And instead of a nanny, they made another baby.
I love it.
So we all like had a lot of chores, just cleaning up the house
Yeah.
or our mess because our
Mhm.
parents didn't want to do that
Yeah.
for us.
Do you think it was useful being that busy as a kid? Like being in all those different things?
Yes, and I
Yeah.
think my parents did that intentionally. Like growing up in Greeley,
The
just like
hard streets
yeah,
of Greeley.
the hard streets
Right.
of Greeley. Well, like and just coming from a Hispanic family, like I think I had people within my family who were like a little rough around the edges. So my
Okay.
dad was just always like, "You guys are gonna, do well in school, be involved." And
Mhm.
like one of our rules in the household was we had to play a musical instrument.
Oh, I love
And
that.
I loved it. Yeah, it was amazing. I'm sure my parents regretted
Did you
that
play
instantly.
Did you play the piccolo?
No, my older sister did.
What did you play?
I played saxophone.
Oh, that's hot.
Wow.
Did you have a shirt that said
I
like any sax related things?
I think I have a shirt that says like Miss Saxy. Or,
Yeah, you did.
Because I was
Yeah,
in
you did.
a jazz band quartet.
Yeah.
Miss Saxy.
That's so great.
That's the best.
No, but I saw Kenny G on like the Macy's Thanksgiving parade one year, and I was like, I want to be that guy. Like just
Wow.
with the curly hair, just like rocking the
Dude.
saxophone.
Interesting.
Kenny G in the 90s was like a god.
Oh, I was obsessed with him.
You can look at him. You just had to listen to his
Can you
music.
imagine how much that guy's worth?
so
What do you
much.
think he's worth? He's got to be worth so much
Millions,
money, right?
millions.
He-
Like tens of millions.
I would say like 22 mil.
Okay.
Net
We'll
worth.
check it out.
Well, yeah,
afterwards.
yeah.
Unless there's
Any
somebody.
of our audience
Yeah,
members.
unless
Find out
Shaylin or
Kenny
Kristen's
G's
net worth.
net worth.
Oh, and Kayla, your sister is maybe on.
Oh, hey there.
Yeah.
What up?
What did your
She-
sister play?
She played soprano, or no, I played soprano saxophone. She played flute and piccolo,
Oh man.
Okay.
and she was in the CSU marching band.
Aw.
Wow.
I know she's still involved with like CSU, like alumni band
That's
alumni.
awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
All these wind instruments.
Wind-
Yeah.
yeah.
Interesting.
Like I said, I think my parents regretted it instantly.
I'm
So
sure.
imagine
Mhm.
like 6 kids practicing musical instruments
That's
at
how
a very young age.
the Jackson 5 started.
So we were the Jackson 5 Latino
Yeah.
Latina
Latina
version.
version. You guys could have been millionaires.
There you go.
Are you the Michael of the group or?
I would say my sister was the Michael of the
Okay.
group. She's the one who like kept playing through college. So
You're a little Janet. You're a little Janet in you.
little Janet. There you
Okay.
go.
Good. So you're playing sax. You're running track. You're
Staying
hanging out.
busy.
You're staying
Yeah.
busy.
It's good.
What was next? How did you decide like where you wanted to go to school and kind of what the next step was?
Yeah. So for me, like it was instilled at a very young age, you know, let's go to college. I was first generation, and I was like, yeah, that sounds like a good time. Like, I don't know what I want to do, but yeah. So I was at UNC for a year, and then I eventually went to CSU, and still I had no idea what I wanted to do. Like, I changed my major 4 times.
Ooh,
4 or
what were
5
some of them?
times.
Yeah, let's hear.
What were some of them?
Well, at
Greatest
UNC,
hits. Yeah.
at UNC it was sports and exercise science with
Okay.
physical education concentration. I thought
Okay.
being a PE
PE
teacher
Okay.
would be fun until I realized that kids are rowdy.
Yeah.
They
right.
get cray.
They're
Mhm.
rowdy.
Mhm.
And then
Plus, you didn't want to become an overweight bald man.
when
With
that's-
shorts that are
with
too
too-
short
yeah.
and a whistle around your neck.
Yeah, so you had to back out of that.
I still do want the tracksuit though.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And then at UNC or CSU, I think I was undeclared for a while. I did sports and exercise science, health promotion, human development and family studies, psychology.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
ran gram it.
yeah.
Nice. I love it.
It
Did you
was
say Grambit?
I did. I said gram it. I said gram it. I was trying to say gram it. I thought we were going to just
You
gloss
thought-
over that, but you would not let me just.
Can we have to keep each other accountable?
My mouth is not working like it should. I'm sorry.
no, and being in school was a good time, but I had no idea what I wanted to do, and it was very expensive.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, this college gig. I don't know if you guys knew this, but colleges are a for-profit organization.
No way. Really?
I'm
Huh.
100%.
It is a business.
for
Did you
sure.
know that the CSU football coach gets paid? I really can't talk. I'm not drunk, I swear. Like over $1 million a year.
Really?
Yeah.
It's-
In order for him to leave, they have to pay him like $6 million or something.
It's insane.
I'm suddenly regretting that I'm not a football coach.
It
I
seems,
guess.
yeah. Do you know how much
Wait,
the CU
so-
football coach gets paid?
How much?
Like $9 million a year or something.
How are they 9 times the pay?
Huh?
They're-
Because it's CU. Yeah, they're way better.
Okay, all right.
Sorry,
I could have those
sorry,
numbers
Rams
totally wrong, by the way.
fans.
Don't quote me on that.
We need like a fact checker.
Kenny G, 50 million.
50.
Man, I shorted him by
50
half.
million.
Fucking Kenny G, man.
50 million. That's exactly the number that I thought too. I was like, 50 million. He's got to be worth 50 million. That's an
I believe it. I have a couple of his sax.
Who doesn't have a couple Kenny G songs on their
Oh yeah.
iPod?
Me. I don't have a single.
You-
I don't have an iPod actually, so that's the problem.
You need to listen to his holiday play or like. his
Oh
holiday
yeah,
CD. It's
I have that.
amazing.
Okay, you're
Yeah.
right. I actually have Kenny G on some holiday album. I'm sure of it.
Listen, Ken, tonight
Mannheim
when Mary gets
Steamroller.
home,
Yeah.
I want you to toss on some Kenny G. Okay? I want you to let your curly hair down.
Light
And
some
it acts
candles.
like I'm playing the saxophone.
And then I want you to air sax. It's like air guitar, but with a sax.
Do I have to live stream this for you?
and then
Is it gonna
And
get
then-
weird here?
and then you just kind of creep up on her with your hips and your air sax, and she'll be like, boom,
Ready.
Yeah,
boom.
I'm sure that's exactly what's gonna happen. That's funny. What
Mary, you're
other
welcome.
sports did you play in high school? You ran track. Was there anything else? Little
Just
field
cross
hockey?
country and
Yeah.
track.
Okay.
I'm not the most coordinated person.
Hmm.
Yoga
wouldn't-
has helped with
You're
that.
very,
wouldn't-
you're very athletic.
I wouldn't have guessed that.
Yeah, I just only know how to turn right or left. Actually, don't turn right. I turn left, and
Yeah.
it's just like anything that involves a ball or me multitasking is
Okay.
usually
Did you get
not-
hit in the face with the ball a lot when you were a kid?
No, but I'm somebody who trips up the stairs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
So,
That's
Christina,
interesting.
you're good with balls. You play a wind instrument.
Wait a minute.
What's your
Maj-Lis.
boyfriend's name? What's happening?
Wait a minute.
So so you have all these majors. Why do you think it was so hard for you to nail something down that you wanted to focus on?
I guess I never asked myself the question like, what makes me happy?
Mm.
Like I said, I think I just went to college because nobody really had done it in my family, and my dad was really pushing it, which
Yeah.
which Rightfully
It's
so.
a great thing to
Rightfully
to
so,
push.
for
Yeah,
sure.
for sure.
But in school, they really don't ask you that question. At
They
least in
just
high
want
school.
the check.
They just want the check.
They really do.
They're gonna get your fetty. They don't care how they do it.
And so,
Fetty.
Ken, maybe you could research some pop culture before our shows. It's money.
Okay. Fetty.
Yeah.
Like confetti.
Yeah.
Like making it rain.
Yeah.
See, I know that.
Like Fetty Wap, you know? You heard it.
No. No.
Okay.
ooh,
Put him on your catalog.
All right, I will.
Somebody Google Fetty Waps.
Whoa, you just.
Somebody figure out Fetty Wap's net worth. We'll see who's better. Kenny G
or
Fetty
Fetty
Wap.
Wap. Ooh, they might be close.
I think they could be close. Seriously.
I've never even heard of this gentleman, Mr. Fetty Wap.
It's Dr. Fetty Wap to you, Ken.
Yeah, it is.
Professor Wap.
Nice.
Ooh.
So, you know, and I think, Christina, it's really interesting being a parent. I feel a lot of the same pressures your dad does to make sure your children get a good education.
Sure.
And there's this fear that's like kind of scary to ask them, like, what do you really want to do? Because like an 18-year-old, what are they going to say? I want to be like a professional baseball player.
Yeah.
You know, and so there's kind of this weird like asking them that might lead them down the wrong path. But
Sure.
is that the wrong path? Who knows? You know, I was watching, there's a new David Chen show. That's his name, the chef for Momofuku.
Mm-hmm.
Chang. And he went with Seth Rogen, and they went out in Vancouver, and Seth Rogen
Oh, I
dropped.
want to see that. Yeah.
Oh, it's so good. Seth Rogen dropped out of high school.
Mhm.
Really?
And
Smokes copious amounts of
I mean,
marijuana.
the whole show, they're smoking weed. I mean, it was
Copious
just,
amounts of
they're
marijuana.
eating donuts. They went to a donut shop and like went to the machine that jams the jelly and the donut, and they were just having the best of times. And here they are, both very successful business people who are multimillionaires, and you know, they didn't go to college.
Are they happy?
Super happy. They had this conversation in the show.
say it. Yeah.
So this is the conflict that I'm talking about. Is
Sure.
I see that need of a parent to encourage them down a good path, because I don't want them to live in my basement and work at Subway when they're 38.
So you have
You
a
know?
thing for underground. Anything underground they can't do.
Well, listen.
No basements, no subways.
When I was 16, I dated a 21-year-old guy who lived in his parents' basement
Creepster.
Mm.
Come
worked
on.
at
Creepy.
Subway.
That guy, come
Ken,
on.
listen, I was mature for my age, first
No.
of all.
No, that's gross.
Well,
That's
it happened.
gross.
I dated him.
Yeah, that's gross.
His name was Dan.
Yeah. Is he in jail now?
I don't know. I haven't
He
seen him
should
in
be.
10 years. I haven't even 20 years probably, because I
Oh.
was.
I don't know what the age of consent is in Colorado, but I don't think it's 16.
Ooh.
Anyways.
And I was like, whatever. You're the one that brought it up.
I did, because I'm explaining that
Okay.
I don't want my kids to become Dan in the basement. You know?
Or dating Dan in the basement, for that matter.
Lily, my daughter, I do not want her to date Dan. I made that mistake. And it wasn't a mistake. It was a great learning experience. I bought him this tattoo
Oh.
for Christmas that was a sun that filled his entire back.
Do you think he still has it?
I mean, how could you not?
I guess
Wow.
it's true. it's a
Like Henry
tattoo.
Rollins style son?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
So anyways. So do you think you would force your children to go get an education based off of what you've experienced?
Oh, good question. I don't know, because I will say I think it took me going through, like I needed to figure it out. I needed to go through
Yeah.
it.
It was like the process.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was just a very expensive process.
Yeah. Do you see yourself having kids?
Yes, I see. This is the crisis in life.
Okay.
Someday, but not for.
But you wanna do
several
a
more
bunch of
years.
shit. Yeah.
Yes, I want to do a bunch of shit. Like
Yeah.
I have a lot of goals still, and I mean,
Ooh,
I have a
some of them.
dog.
Yeah, name some of them. Name
Well,
some of the goals. I mean, if you're
um,
comfortable with it.
Yeah,
if you're
no,
not.
for sure.
Yeah.
Right now I'm taking prereqs to try to get into PTA school.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that's
Mhm.
exciting. It's hard, but it's exciting.
And that's physical therapy
Assistant,
assistant.
yeah.
Cool.
Because I
You
didn't-
talked to Kathy Lee?
I have not. I've been talking to Gretchen about it though.
Oh,
A
yeah.
lot. Yeah, because that's something she's interested in as well. So it was really cool.
Well, Kathy Lee was a physical therapist for years. She's the one who teaches Pilates, and she comes to Hot all the time.
Wait, yes, I actually have talked to her.
Yeah, she's great.
Briefly.
Yes, she is.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Shout out Kathy Lee.
Yeah,
Shout
she's helping my
out.
buddy out.
Yes, she does a
She's awesome.
great what is it, standing bow pose.
Yeah.
She does a great everything.
She
Mhm.
does.
We got a
Send
Fetty
it
Wap
to me.
net worth.
Fetty Wap, 8 mil.
What?
Wah, wah.
Kenny G's
Wah,
showed you
wah,
what's
wah.
up, Fetty
Who
Wap.
else? I mean, 50 mil is a lot.
It is. I mean, it's not Jay-Z and Beyonce money, but
Great. Now they're gonna have to look up Jay-Z and Beyonce.
they're worth $1 billion.
$1 billion.
$1 billion.
$1
Wow.
together.
Joint, yeah.
Joint billion.
So goals. Sorry.
Goals,
We got a
no.
little sidetracked. It
Well,
happens.
I mean, I was very
on occasion.
information.
Yeah.
My
So
goals.
PTA
My
school.
goals. Yeah,
Yeah.
PTA school. I did just finish my 200 teacher training.
Yeah,
And-
you did.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I did not know if I wanted to be a teacher before training.
And then bam.
And then
now all you
bam.
want to do is teach.
All I want to do is just hang out in the studio.
Aww.
It was so amazing. I loved it.
Well, let me tell you guys a little story. So Christina was the sweetest. She would start coming into the studio. How long ago did you first come in?
It'll be 2 years in
It's
June.
like right around when we
Yeah.
opened.
Mhm.
Cool.
And she was just the cutest, sweetest, just, hi, like I'm here for yoga. And she would just be quiet and just work so hard and just do so great in class. And then we offered a pod fit training.
Mhm.
And pod fit, for those of you who have not taken that format, it's high intensity cardio. There's little or no yoga, and it's like all personality. Like if you're taking a class from somebody that's teaching pod fit, you have to kind of entertain them because you're squatting, you're jump jacking,
Jump jacking.
jump
I
jacking.
hate the jump jacks. I hate the jump jacks. There's two things
So
that
much
should
fun.
not be happening.
And so
together.
like you really need somebody that's like excited and whatever. And so she took our training. It was just so awesome, and that kind of started it where she wanted more,
Yes.
and then signed up for the 200 hours. So how did you first choose YogaPod?
My friend, shout out Whitney Miller. Woo. She was one of your guys' founding members.
Aw,
And-
thanks, Whitney.
Not the Whitney Miller.
Like-
Aubrey Marx's
Like
former
ex-girlfriend
former
who
fiance.
just
Anyways,
did like a nude photo shoot on her Instagram.
did she?
Ooh. No, not that one.
Gotta check that out.
Not
Anyway,
Earmark that for later, Ken.
mhm.
But she got me like a gift card to YogaPod for my
Aw.
birthday. And it took me a couple months to actually come in. I was just kind of in this weird place in life where I'm like, I've been working at this restaurant. I dropped out of school. Like, I have no idea what I want to do.
How are you feeling?
Right
Were you
now.
feeling no?
Oh.
Then at that point, were you feeling a little lost, or were you
Oh,
like, oh,
absolutely.
everything's gonna be all right?
Oh, I was having mental breakdowns like at
Okay.
least every other day.
Well, that's no fun.
No, but it's just maybe it's the 20s.
Part of
You're
it.
like,
Yeah.
I really need to figure my crap out here soon, and I got nothing figured out.
Mhm.
Yeah, and so the December before I started coming to your YogaPod, so sad. My brother committed suicide,
Oh man.
and yeah, so it
Oh,
was really tough and hard on the family, and to add that on top of just me questioning like what
Sure.
is my purpose.
Yeah.
I started going to yoga. And at first it was just kind of something that I did because I needed an escape
like
and
an
like
outlet.
an
Yeah.
outlet, and yoga was somewhere I didn't have to talk to anybody. I
Sure.
could just focus on what I was doing in the moment and
Like be
just
on your mat.
just be on my mat.
Mm-hmm.
And then it blossomed into something kind of amazing
Yeah.
and very unexpected. Like before this I was a runner, so I was just like, oh yeah, yoga, stretching, that I just
Totally.
thought it was stretching. But the first class I actually took was Maj-Lis Hot,
Was it?
Yeah,
was.
look at
I
that.
didn't know that.
and I died. It was my first hot yoga like practice,
Wow.
and
you just come out of there going, what
just happened?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I just remember it being so difficult, and it was the heat. But I remember laying in child's pose because I thought I was going to pass out. And you came up behind me and just did the most beautiful adjustment. And I started bawling. But it was like, you didn't, in that moment, you didn't know my story. You didn't know where I was coming from. But it was, at that moment, it was just somebody noticing, like, hey, I'm here.
Yeah.
And then I just kept coming.
See, Maj-Lis? Nice job.
Man, seriously, I'm gonna listen. It's so sweet.
But I think that's a huge part of it is having that moment where you are noticed as like a human being. And sometimes it requires touch. Sometimes it doesn't. You know, sometimes it's like just being in that presence. But I think that being able to go in there and having your own experience, but also knowing that you're being recognized as a human being and that you're part of this whole mess that we call life.
Oh, absolutely. And then
it's a huge thing.
And even like with deciding to pick Yoga Pod as my teacher training, that's what I gravitated towards. Like, Yoga Pod is huge on as soon as you walk in the door, you are welcomed, you are loved, and the staff takes the time just to get to know your story. Sure. And for me, like, it took a while. Like, and I feel like, you know, even the teachers had to like pull it out of me because I was going through my own crap. But once they did, like, it was amazing. Yeah. I loved that. I still do.
It's just this whole place to have the opportunity for, if people want to walk in, they don't want to talk to anybody, they can. And then just knowing that the teachers and the staff get just as much out of it when people share like their story, to know that they have a safe place to be, and that like genuinely we're all there because we love people. Yeah. And it's just, it's a byproduct that I knew would happen, but I never really thought how important that would be to so many people, to just have a place that somebody knows your name. Exactly. Mm-hmm. Somebody that, like, I mean, people can come in and cry, people can have a bad day, they can, be happy or just be happy to have a touch, and I think about that too. Like, one woman came up to me after class, several months ago, and was like, I haven't been, touched by another person in so long. And, like, just to think about that, and just, of course, people that don't want to be touched don't have to, but I try to feel that, and like, just give love physically if somebody wants an adjustment or whatever. And then how impactful that was to her to like be connected. Sure. Yeah. But be connected to other people. That's why that's our tagline. It's written on our door, be connected, because we forget how important it is that we're all in this together. And, this stuff's magic, and it's hard to explain that to people because they just think it's like, what are you guys doing in there? You're so stretching. Woo-woo. It sounds real woo woo. Yeah. So you've we're going through this really, really difficult time in your life. Coming to yoga then versus now, what is your relationship with yoga today?
It's so amazing. I mean, it's just a place where I embrace everything. I think I embrace the difficulty of postures, and I use this in just life. I'm like, okay, like, just dive in. It's going to be weird and uncomfortable, and maybe you can't breathe, but that's okay. Totally. And even just like embrace the fear of falling. I know when I first started practicing yoga, I was very nervous to challenge myself into getting deeper in these postures. But the more I started going, the more I started embracing that. And now, like, if I fall, I know it's because I'm pushing myself. I'm reaching my edge, and I'm flirting with that line, Mm-hmm.
And it's rare in life that we force ourselves to that edge, because by nature, we're trying to keep ourselves warm, comfortable. Exactly. Yep. And so it's been a new development just the last couple of years for me, and seeking that challenge in my yoga practice, just finding that edge, because that's where the growth happens. And for so many people in their day-to-day lives, where is their growth? right?
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's none.
Yeah.
Or it's so minimal. I mean, I think with us like being so consumed with kind of screens and what's like right in front of us, but I feel like the physicality of the practice, and I think that's something that a lot of people don't know, is like how physical yoga can actually be. But then that physical like really transcending into the emotional and spiritual kind of side of it, and that's what it took for me, is having that like physical experience for me to like be able to kind of knock down some of those walls and get to kind of the other parts of it as well.
Oh, absolutely. And even before this 200 teacher training, like one of my biggest fears is public speaking. Like even being on this podcast. I'm
Really?
like,
You're doing so good.
You're doing great.
I would never have known.
well, I've done some 8 weeks of training.
Intense training.
Really, 200-hour teacher training got me ready for this moment.
It will prepare you for podcasting. We're
That's
not
right.
that in the
That's
description.
No, but I really wanted to tackle that fear because I want to embrace being uncomfortable, and I know that's where growth lies. And even like I went back to school, like that the January I started coming to Yoga Pod was when I went back to school, and I've just been on this super huge growth kick, and it's been so great. And yoga has played such a huge, impactful role in all that.
It's so cool to just watch your development and just watch your journey. You recently taught your first public class, which at the end of the 200-hour training, that's the culmination of it. So talk to us about teaching that class. What did you experience?
Well, before I was afraid. I'm like, oh my gosh, if I poop my pants in these white leggings, that's terrible.
White
that
leggings
is
are
risky.
level 10 risky.
Why did I buy white? Well, and I went on Aloe, and I was like, okay, treat yourself. I'm gonna buy a new outfit.
Yeah.
I'm gonna splurge a little.
I never thought that in my life, but okay.
You've never said to
I've never
yourself,
said, oh my God, I'm
treat
gonna treat
yourself.
myself and go buy a new outfit. Never thought that.
You should.
I should.
You should treat yourself.
Should
They're
totally
great.
do it.
Have you ever had a tailored suit?
Never.
You're missing out.
Yeah.
It feels great.
I mean,
Not
I
that
have
I've
a
had
suit.
tailored
It's not a
suit.
tailor. I mean, it's fine.
A tailored suit is
Yeah, a
like
couple
super
suits.
James Bondy, and you can like jump on buildings and stuff.
When am I gonna wear a suit?
It doesn't matter.
Christmas party?
There
yeah,
you go.
exactly.
Christmas party.
Yes.
No, but I think I just wanted the outfits because I was like,
Yeah.
if
and
I
confidence
yeah,
and
gotta
like
look,
everything. Yeah.
know,
feel
look
good,
fly.
look good, absolutely. But the white
Be on
leggings.
fleek. Have you heard that? Have you heard this?
Yes, the kids say it.
Yeah, they do say
You're
it.
not a child.
I'm not, but I'm hip.
Okay.
Okay.
No, but I was so nervous because again, public speaking was like such a huge fear. And
Sure.
when you're going through teacher training, you're experiencing you're seeing all these different personalities in teachers, and it's so hard not to compare yourself to other people.
Oh my God. Yeah. Because you see some people and you're like, that was so easy for you. This is so unfair.
Right? Or like,
Right?
for me, it was even just cueing. Some people are just naturals at it.
Yeah.
And get it. And I'm over here just like.
Which is right? Which is left?
Which
Yeah.
part of my body is
writing
that?
the L's and the R's on my hands.
Yeah.
Your left hand, if you hold it out, makes an L.
Well,
That's
the
true.
other side does
This
too.
is
It's
how
just backwards.
Well, yeah, but this is a real. That's how I teach my kids. Left hand makes
My
a real
parents
L.
taught me that too.
It's
Yeah.
the name, but
Yeah, and I was
sometimes
like, yeah, but the other side is an L as well.
It's
just
a fucking backwards L. Karen. Why would you say it's an L? It's a J.
It is a J.
Right.
Oh.
Well, to them, it's an L. The people that are watching right now are like, you got the wrong hand up.
Also, on,
Anyway.
on the audio version, they can't see
Yeah, they
your hands.
can't see our hands. Anyways, we're doing hand signs. Go ahead. Carry on.
Carry on. But yeah, I think as soon as I walked in the class and got him in the child's pose and started cueing like audible breath and ujjayi breathing, I was able to calm myself down. I was like, oh, okay, this is why they put everybody, in child's pose when nobody's looking at them and cueing breath, so it could help the teacher relax.
Totally.
How about the playlist?
My
Do you have an
playlist
awesome playlist?
was dope.
Yeah,
It was dope. And that was another thing in teacher training I compared myself to, and I had to stop doing it.
Yeah.
I'm I like hip hop. Like
Yeah.
I am somebody who really just feels the music in yoga. In silence, although it is fun. In hot yoga, I will say I like silence. But in
Does
other
anybody play music now in
Uh-huh.
hot?
Yep,
Okay.
people still do.
Okay.
But like I want a dope beat when I'm doing a flow.
Nice.
Me too.
All right.
So yeah, mine was like a hip hop and kind of flow class, and I was
Love it.
a little quirky. I discovered that I think I'm gonna be a very like fun, quirky teacher, but I'm embracing it.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Good.
Yeah.
Who's on your playlist?
Oh, I had I started out with Beyonce. It was
Mm-hmm.
her Sorry, like original instrumental version. Because I still wanted to stay very true to the flow, like
Right.
you know, holding postures. So I had it was more of R&B. Like I always told people, it's like baby making music a little bit.
Ken with the air sax music.
There you go.
Wow. Can I get your playlist later? Maybe after the air sax, I can just put that on and hope for the best.
But yeah, I'm somebody who just I feed off the energy of music, and so I wanted to incorporate that into my class, and also remind people that yoga's fun. Like
It's so fun.
it's so fun.
You know, that's one of the things that I was thinking about when we have that little thing, the intake where we have people fill out.
Yeah.
You should put fun on there.
Okay.
Because it's like spirituality, flexibility, like all these things that people can pick.
Yeah.
Fun is not on there.
Okay. Ken's talking about the waiver that
Yes.
students sign when they come to
I think
the
it's
pod.
important.
There's a
'Cause it's
you check a
fun.
box.
It is
Why are
fun.
you here?
Yeah.
You know.
It's fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm down.
Okay.
It is.
Let me just
You're-
invest the next 12 hours updating all of our content.
If you could do that,
That
for
sounds
me,
like fun.
please.
Great. No,
Thanks,
no
Maj-Lis.
problem.
Anyways, little side note.
No, but yeah, I mean, and like Maj-Lis said, I love our fit classes, and they're usually like high intensity, and I wanted to incorporate that into my flow. Like I think, because that's just who I am. Like,
Yeah.
I love just moving around. I invited some, you know, booty shaking in my class.
Love it.
Mm.
Ken loves a good booty shaking.
Nothing better than
Never
a big,
never misses out on
nothing
that.
better than some twerking.
Well, and it just kind of opens up the hips a little. So
It is
I mean,
functional.
you are multitasking right there.
Yeah, it is. So you teach your class. How was it to have people come out and like tell you about their experience? Like after your class.
Oh, after my
Like
class?
your students.
My heart was so full in that
Aw.
moment.
Isn't that
so full because I was so nervous. And to see the people to come out and support me was pretty incredible. I told myself I was only going to cry once,
Ah.
and it was after class, not before.
There you go.
But it was great because I was working so hard, and 200 or teacher training is very time consuming. I mean, it's an investment,
Yeah, it is.
not only financially, but you know, with time as well. And yeah, so my friends who came out, just I loved. It made me so happy for them to shower me with words of encouragement. And even my friend she has twins. She's pregnant
With twins?
with twins,
Woo!
and she came to my class
That's
and
awesome.
killed it.
That's so
It was
cool.
just like goals, you know.
That's pretty great.
So it was great. Like
That's cool.
You've got a lot of positive encouragement up here.
oh
Yeah. Shaylin said the growth you showed in 8 weeks was mind blowing.
Aw.
Kyle says it was a lot of fun. I think he was talking about your class. And then your sister said you did an amazing job.
Aw.
Thank you.
You're so loved.
Oh, I feel loved. And it's
Sure.
crazy. I think it was week 1 of teacher training, and we were practicing like our introduction. And I think we were popcorning 5 minutes, and I couldn't get through 5 minutes without my voice shaking. And I was on the verge of tears, and that was just 5 minutes. I'm like, oh my gosh, in 8 weeks I'm gonna have to get through 60 minutes of this. Like, I don't know if I could do it. And then week 2 I had a mental breakdown. Like I cried. I cried after we popcorn taught, and I was like, I had to leave the class. It's like I don't know if I can do this, but I just kept with it, and then I just like tackled that fear of getting in front of people and owning a room.
It's so, I think having that like uncomfortability like is so important to realizing like who you are, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, I felt Maj-Lis wasn't there, so she doesn't know. I know she's going to say lots of great things, but she wasn't there the first time. Like I had to teach 20 minutes of the hot class at the end of the hot training. It was awful. Don't say it wasn't. Don't say it wasn't. No, it was awful. And I was like, I'm clearly not a teacher. Like,
you thought that to yourself?
For sure. Yeah. I was like, this is so bad. And then like going through that and then coming out on the other side of it being like, oh, I can do, like, I know how to do this, you know, but owning that at the moment and being like, that was not good. How do I fix this? You know? So unfortunately you gave me some tools to help with Gretchen and everything. It all worked out.
Well, it's interesting because it's so deceiving how easy it looks to teach. So like when you're in a class, you think that somebody's just flitting around, like saying cool stuff, and you have no idea. And I remember before I started teacher training, I thought in my head, I can fucking do this. I will
That's so great.
mop the floor with everyone. Like, I'm so great. And then the first time
I'm gonna have lots of funny little quips.
oh my gosh, I'm gonna be like
It's
so
great.
smooth. And then like you stand up in teacher training to talk and you're like, I don't know what to do with my hands. Like, you're horrible. And I mean, there's a small group of people, like you said, that are really, really natural, but the majority, I mean, you're gonna shit the bed several times.
Oh
right?
yeah, for sure.
And then it's so interesting because it's just like working a muscle, right? You have to break it down and break it down and break it down and rebuild it, and you have to keep at it to make it stronger. It's the same thing, like you're teaching skills. And I think once you've been teaching for so long, because we have such talented teachers at the studio who've been teaching for like a decade, they forget what that was like. Like you forget the pain of childbirth. For reals. Cool. And that's nature's
that's nature's way of tricking you.
Yeah, that's nature's way of like, So it's, you forget how bad you were at the beginning, and then you have to like reassess and be like, oh, okay, now I remember what it's like to be a new teacher and relearn those skills. Because when you have a talented teacher in front of you, they make it look like nothing is happening. So it's totally natural, and I'm just, to push through that, that's a big deal.
It really is.
Because a lot of people just want to give up.
Yeah, week 2, I was really questioning my decisions.
You're like, how much money can I get back on this? Or can you refund me?
So you lay that out.
What other studio? Can I go practice at so I don't have to see these people ever again?
Well, it was so great because, again, like week 2, I had a mental breakdown like in class, and I was like, this is so embarrassing. All these people who I barely know are like watching me cry, but everybody was so kind about it.
Awesome.
And even like Gretchen, just was
even
so
Gretchen.
Even Gretchen. But she was. I just remember her being so sweet to me about it. And then with Kyle, like he really encouraged me to be myself. They both did. That's another thing that was so great about yoga pod teacher training is they don't want you to be like them. They want you to be yourself and bring your own personality and authenticity. Ooh, that's a hard word too.
It is, yeah.
It's a big one.
I could definitely not say that right now.
Into your practice and your teaching. And so I just had to focus on that. And then again, now I realize I'm going to be a weird, quirky teacher, but it's cool. I'm pretty okay with it.
Which that's great because, I think so many people are weird and quirky, and those are the students that we want. They want, somebody that can relate to their teacher and know that they're not perfect, and that, they have fun, and that, they're going to interact with you. And so, I say all kinds of weird stuff that, I'm like, do people think I'm insane? Probably, but this is who I am. And if I reach one person that knows it's okay to be authentic and be yourself, that's what we want. In a safe environment where nobody feels offended or upset or anything like that. And
really offended? I mean, sometimes it seems like.
I mean, in class. On the podcast, maybe I say something. No, but and that's the whole goal. So we celebrate that in all of our teachers, and I think for me that's so critical for me having a relationship with a teacher when I'm taking their classes, is I want them to be who they are, because that makes me feel like I'm aligning with them in some way. So
Yeah.
So you've taught your class. What's your next step? What are you gonna do?
Conquer the world.
Yeah, you
Just
are.
kidding.
Whoa, all right.
Kenny G, she's coming for you.
That's
coming
right.
for you. I still have my soprano saxophone.
There you
go.
It's on display in my room. Her name
Aw.
is Delilah.
Delilah.
I haven't
Named
played her
your
in
sax?
years.
Excellent.
Mm.
I did.
Is it a
There's-
glass case?
No, it's just on my bookshelf. Just
Okay.
chilling there.
Mm.
Right.
So it could easily fall off and break. It
Yeah.
really,
You should bring it in.
I should.
Ariella brings her harmonium to Yin sometimes.
Yeah, she
So
does.
you could crack off a couple riffs at the beginning of your
Should I?
next class.
What is that George Michael song with the saxophone?
I want your sax.
I know exactly the one that you're talking about.
I'll just come play that right before my flow while they're in child's pose.
Yeah.
Well, good. Well, you have, what I think is really cool is being 29 and having the tools that you have, having the education that you have now. For me, teacher training was just kind of the beginning of my education.
Mm-hmm.
And now you have this foundation where you can really follow your heart and figure out, specifically what areas you want to study and what you want to do. But at the end of the day, it changes you as a person, where you're setting yourself up for success in whatever you're going to do, because you have these tools like, understanding your energy to be able to take control of a room or a situation or yourself, which are really interesting skills that I think everybody should have, whether they want to teach yoga or not.
Yeah.
And breathe.
So
Breathe.
Christina, gold star.
Remember to breathe.
Isn't that the craziest thing? We have to remind ourselves to breathe.
Remember to breathe.
Right, and again, in my class, like that's what I had to do right at the beginning with the students while I was cueing them. I was like,
Mhm.
okay, if I'm telling them to breathe, I should probably breathe too.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's great.
So what would you say to somebody that has never taken yoga? Why should they come take a yoga class?
Because it'll change your life. I'm just kidding.
Oh.
It's true though.
Yeah, it might.
I mean, with yoga, it's not just a physical practice. If you want to kind of just figure out, your mindset and where you want to go in life, I think yoga is a beautiful place where you can figure that out. When you're focusing on breath, you're really focusing on what's happening within, in my opinion. And if you're what was the question again? If you're thinking about
If you're thinking about doing a class, why should you do it?
I mean, embrace being uncomfortable, embrace focusing on your breath, and it's fun.
It is.
It sure
fun
is
with
fun.
a capital F. Yeah.
And it's fun and it's hard.
It's challenging.
It's so challenging.
Really is.
It's not just stretching. Like
No.
I've felt so much strength in yoga. And I know it's because of crow. That's what our peak pose is in our flow sequence.
Can you cue crow right now for those who don't know what crow is?
Yes. Oh, putting me on the spot, huh? So I think I cue it like if you're from Malasana, from Yogi Squat. You're going to place your palms in front of you with a slight gaze forward. And then you're going to want to think chaturanga arms, kind of like at a 90-degree angle there. And instead of putting your knees on your triceps, have them squeeze the outside of your triceps, and that'll help you focus on the midline and stability, and just squeeze everything, engage the core. And it's important to look forward, because if you don't, you will tumble. Slight gaze forward.
Yeah, I can't do any of those ones.
You
Can't do crow. No.
You haven't had Christina cue you.
No, I don't go to a lot of
That's
flow
fine.
classes, but it is one of the things. It's one of the goals. I want to do more like
flow.
handstands, arm balancing, postures.
Yeah, they're fun.
Yeah.
There's a Hindu tradition that you have nectar in your brain that
Of course I do.
that drips down into your belly as you go through the day, and it gets burned up in the fires of your belly. And if you invert your body, the bindu or the nectar stays in your head, which ultimately lengthens your life. Inverting your body.
Will you come over and tell me a nighttime story tonight?
Only if I get to see air sacs.
You said it in such a nice, calm, soothing voice.
When I tell Hindu stories, I slip into my storytelling voice.
All right. All right.
Yeah.
Well, good. Well, Christina, we're so proud of you. We're so happy that you're part of our community. You have a long future with YogaPod, and we're just really, really lucky to have your beautiful shining face, and your heart is the best thing about you because you're so loving and so sweet, and you just add to the whole. You add to everybody just by existing.
Oh.
So we're really lucky you're here, and we're so happy you chose us to be part of your yoga journey.
Yeah.
Thank you for creating a community. You know, I mean,
You're like, nah, it was nothing.
It wasn't me. It was all of you guys.
I mean, but you've done a lot,
And
and I appreciate everything that you do for our YogaPod and our community. And I know you put your heart and soul into it, and it shows. And I'm so grateful that there is a teacher training program at YogaPod, and that they have the teachers that they have, and everybody's passionate there. And that's what's so great about this studio and this particular teacher training is they care.
Thank you so much. That literally means the world.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thanks for coming on. It's always great to see you walk into the studio. You're always smiling.
Yeah, you are.
So, which is a great thing. It's always great to see you. And anybody that has enjoyed this podcast, if you can rate, review, share us. If you're watching now, if you can just hit that little share button at the end, that would be awesome. Otherwise, we will see you next week with maybe the trio. Who knows?
Who
We'll
knows?
see. We'll see.
What's gonna happen?
We'll see what happens. All right.
Surprise.
Kenny Jesus, what's happening?
Bye.
Bye.